which had over the...
Read the official lecture 3 times. Meeting will come to order. This is the 117th meeting of the Alden Kindred of America, and I will gavel it open. Now,
open.
okay. You have the annual reports on your table, and there is a section in there on the annual meeting minutes of the meeting from last year. And I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes as printed, or would entertain any corrections there might be. Do I have a motion? Rick, did I see a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Alden Rehnquist moved that the minutes be approved. Is there any discussion? Second to the motion. Second by John Toll. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor of the minutes of approving the minutes of the last meeting, say aye. Aye. Nay? Motion is passed. Okay. The director, Desiree Mobin, has been here. This is your second annual meeting, and I found a treasure when we found Desiree. She is a delightful person who came to us from the Harwich Historical Society, and prior to that, the Nathan Hale House in Connecticut. That one probably gave you an inside track because I'm from Connecticut. But Desiree's skills, expertise, manner, and friendliness have really made a difference in the Alden Kindred in these last 2 years. She's intersected with so many people in town. Visitors that come, everybody feels welcome. She doesn't get flapped about anything, so we have a good relationship because I'm like this and she's like this, and it makes it just wonderful to work together. And I appreciate all the things you do above and beyond what is in her job description, because you might recall that everybody here works part-time, and part-time is a very loose term in this organization. But I want to thank you really for everything you've done so far, and look forward to much in the future. And I put her on first to give the director's report.
Thank you very much, Pauline. I hope that we all stay connected here. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm going to try to multitask and change the screen here. First of all, again, I just want to echo the welcome. We're just thrilled to be here for this Alden family reunion yet once again on the grounds of this wonderful site. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to look at some Alden memorabilia from 150 years ago. And of course, this is before no one had imagined the Alden Kindred. This is when the Aldens were still in residence in Alden House. And what struck me is, these are the little mementos that Americans were buying to put in their house, and what they wanted to remember about their Pilgrim heritage and how they treasured that. And it was inspiring. It inspires us, and it continues today as people come and share their lineage and their stories and that moment when they figured out that they were an Alden, or the passion with which they care about American history. Because as we say, anyone can be a pilgrim. So we're here today to honor this legacy. Of course, the Kindred has been at this now for almost 120 years to preserve this magnificent site and to honor the heritage of John and Priscilla and their descendants, and preserve the house. So a big part of this year was working on the expansion with the 97 Alden property right over there, if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it. It got down to some of the nuts and bolts of actually clearing out some of the diseased trees and so forth, but also more strategically in thinking about how to incorporate it into what we have here and how to enhance the visitor experience. So please take some time today to go and take a look at it. We're also very, very grateful to the generosity of our members who helped pay down the endowment that had been borrowed on to make that very important purchase. We also focused this year on a lot of site improvements. Yes, we are thinking about 2020, but how do, when people come here, how do they experience this house? How do they find what they need to find? And how to make it more of a year-round experience for visitors. We're very grateful to Tristan Dowling, whose Eagle Scout project added interpretive signage to the first site, the very important first site, and almost a little bit of, I would say, a fragile piece of history. So this helps give it a real interpretive focus. And thank you, Tristan, from the bottom of our hearts, that we are not constantly having to give directions through the trail because of some very helpful trail signage. So if you haven't been down there yet, please walk down there. It is, I promise, under 2/10 of a mile, and it will be well worth your visit. For those of you who are Aldens, you can just imagine where you would have been standing in that, yes, 400 square foot house, possible. We also focused a little bit on enhancing the landscape. Now, of course, today we tend to focus on, oh, this looks really good and we like it and it's beautiful, but in the Alden's day, it would have been a very practical and important part of the landscape here, and that is, of course, the heirloom gardens, the kitchen gardens that would have had vegetables and herbs for culinary use, medicinal use, and household needs. And we couldn't have done it without the help of Jeanette McKenzie from the Community Garden Club of Duxbury that had started this project so many years ago. A high school intern and a tremendous amount of volunteer labor. Also, always keeping in mind the importance of preserving the house. The conservation assessment of 2015, we followed up with a grant to Duxbury for CPC funds to rebuild the entryway, which is causing some moisture problems in the house and pitching water into under the original foundation. The heart and soul of every museum is its educational outreach. At present, we work with 3rd and 5th graders. We also have a high school intern program, and those are all areas that we seek to grow in the community. Bringing history to life was something that we've been working on, instituting a way to bring reenactors and demonstrations to the house to give some real hands-on history experience, make it come to life. And we're very grateful for some very generous donations from Rockland Trust, from the Duxbury Cultural Council, from the Massachusetts Society of the Cincinnati, to come up with different ways to engage people in their history and the heritage. And if you ever know of any really good demonstrators, please let us know. We got a good list going right now. Now in its 11th year, honoring of some outstanding women in the community for all that they do in the spirit of Priscilla Mullins Alden. It's always a very special and inspiring event. We also started working back on the collections care, which is also very important to the house and the interpretation. We have a lot of fragile textiles that we needed to review. Are also doing some database entry with the collection, and if anyone loves to put things in a computer piece by piece, we would love to have your help in data entry. I also want to thank Lily for a very wonderful scholarly report on a new sampler that we got from the Keyser family last year. And if you didn't get a chance to see it through our electronic newsletter, it is available on the website, so you can read it there as well. Visitor attendance was up 25% last year, so we're gonna keep pushing on that. And as Pauline noted, we do get visitors from all over the world. Most of them tend to be, related to the Aldens or think that they're related to the Aldens. But it's wonderful to hear their stories and to share this history with them, and just to continue to do so. So membership, we did have a 12% increase in membership. We're getting closer to that 2020 goal. And, again, this is a way that we outreach to people all over the country and really all over the world with their Alden lineages. They form the base of our, incredibly generous support. And so it is an important, aspect that we continue to work on. So as Pauline mentioned, we are determined to be very friendly in Duxbury because The Aldens and Duxbury are intertwined. They've got the earliest shared history as Duxbury, you could say, was America's first suburb. And here we are. So we look for different ways that the town really values the parade, which we'll try to do every other year, I think. Duxbury Food and Wine Festival, holidays, and outreaches with the library. Also the upcoming big anniversary, everyone asks about this, 2020. Duxbury, of course, has an important role in celebrating that, and I appreciate the new chair, Jane Talmadge, who has taken on this responsibility to coordinate us all. Alden House will be the visitor center for Duxbury 2020. Of course, we'll need a lot of help for that, and we're working on a pilgrim trail, a video, and a number of different projects. And as Pauline said, we couldn't really do this without all the help that we get. We have a very small staff. Actually, what we've decided is that our job descriptions really say no job description. It's whatever comes your way. So I'd like to say again, thank you to Carol Smith, who's really truly a right hand for us. Also Lily Cleveland, we all know Lily's patient work as the genealogist. Trish Burke-Smith, who may be in the house, who's one of our head docents, and our many staff of docents. There'll be several in the afternoon here today showing the house, our fabulous volunteers who come frequently, and those who just come occasionally. We love you all. And by the way, volunteer work is now valued. We all know it's immeasurable, but $24 an hour, so keep that in mind. Upcoming events, please join us. If you're far away, we keep trying to post things online. And if you're nearby, please come and check it out. So just a few extra scheduling notes that I want to make special note of. So we have the Cooper here from Strawberry Bank. I just was absolutely thrilled that he said yes to come be the barrel maker for today. Carolyn's program is at 1 here in the tent. Also in the house today as a special treat for the Alden reunion is a copy of the Warwick patent. And there's no history test here, I promise. But in about 1628, the Pilgrims signed a new patent after the first one had expired. And so this gave them land, the land around Plymouth and also up in Kennebunk for the fur trade. John Alden's name is mentioned several times in this document, and it shows his rising leadership in the colony at the age of 27, approximately. And it's a very interesting piece of history. What they would do was just like the Declaration of Independence, once they had made the original, which does hang in Pilgrim Hall, they made copies so they could take it around and just show that they had rights to various lands and so forth. So please check it out. It's just a wonderful, historic, real piece of history to be part of this event. The last thing I just want to point out is our high school intern, Wesley Pattinson, will be here this afternoon. So he'll love to share with you the project that he did to expand the heirloom gardens with vegetables, and also a new Eagle Scout project coming along. Now his deadline is December, so we don't want to count how many weeks he has left to pull this off. But he is going to try to rebuild the well sweep for the Alden well. So that is a very exciting piece of this as well. So I want to thank you all for your time. Please do shop in the gift shop upstairs. Don't forget your fabulous Christmas ornaments. Robert Dente has some wonderful Alden memorabilia also for sale up in the barn. So enjoy yourselves. And again, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Desiree. I'm just tired listening to that. It's a wonderful, wonderful things that you do, and I appreciate it very, very much. Moving right along, I'd ask Alden Kaiser, as head of our finance committee, if he'd give us a financial report on the fiscal condition of the Kindred. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Alden Kaiser. I am co-chair of the Finance Committee. The other chair is Paul Clemente, sitting over here at the table. He's going to audit me this morning. The financial report is contained in your book on, well, actually, before I say that, I want to extend a welcome to everybody returning to this, and I want to extend a special welcome to those of you that are here for the first time, and hopefully you'll be able to return many more times. The financial reports are contained in your book on page 28 and 29, which is the last page of the book, and the numbers are actually on page 29. And if you look at the bottom of page 29, you'll see it says statement of position condensed, and then there's one line that has cash on it. That's really condensed. There are about 8 lines that fell off the bottom of the page, so I will be looking forward next year to next year's book where we hope to feature those 8 lines on the front cover of the book. But I will go through that with you. If you look at the comparison of numbers between fiscal year 16 and 17, you'll see that a lot of them are very, very close, which might lead you to believe that it was sort of a ho-hum year. But as you can see from Desiree's presentation, and there will be other presentations this morning, there's an awful lot going on at the Alden Kindred. And one thing I'm very happy with is that of course, our goal is to increase contributions and grants every year. We increased it slightly from 90,000 to 91,000, but still that's a significant number and a lot of work, a lot of grant writing, and Desiree discussed some of the grants that we've received. The annual fund was 29,000 of that, grants were 28,000 of that, and one large gift of 34,000, which was designated to go back to the endowment fund to help rebuild the endowment fund from the monies that were taken from it to help purchase the property next door. Turning to our statement of position, we are stable. We're in good financial health. Our cash position is approximately the same as what it was last year. Our endowment portfolio increased by, you don't see the numbers, but it increased from 361,000 to 395,000 between the 2 years, so that's growing and healthy. We have a note payable to Rockland Trust for the purchase of the property next door, and that's being drawn down by about $10,000 a year, so that currently stands at $462,000. But in conclusion, I'm happy with this report. I'm very happy with the year that we had, and I would like to give my heartfelt thanks to the staff of the Kindred who do such a wonderful job and are a real pleasure to work with. Any questions? Okay, if not, I need a motion to accept the Finance Committee report.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you refer to the property next door, could you briefly summarize what that means? It sounds like good news, but I just don't know what it's about.
Last year, it was 2 years ago, we started negotiating for a parcel of land that's part of the original Alden grant. That's right adjacent to this property and between this property and basically the schools and other public lands in Duxbury. And we were able to acquire that. The owner worked with us. We were able to acquire it. It's a wonderful acquisition for the Kindred. And, it gives us a tremendous amount of flexibility for things that we're going to do in the future. Right now, we are not doing anything specifically over there, but just wait.
It's great, and it's a buffer also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's what that refers to.
Yeah, thank you.
Part of the original homestead. So we
Yeah,
have another,
fabulous.
2.7 acres, is that right?
Yeah, and we now are slightly over 5 acres.
It doubled the size
Wonderful.
of this property.
That's fabulous. Thank you for explaining.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to accept the Finance Committee report? Thank you. A second? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alden, and Paul and Gary, who are all on the Finance Committee, for doing that. And just a comment on when we decided to do that property, it was close to this meeting 2 years ago, and we took 120,000 out of the endowment to grab it, because otherwise, about 20 feet off our property, we could have had either a set of condominiums or a McMansion. So it was a prudent and good decision, and 100 of the 120,000 has been put back into the endowment, and with the growth in the endowment funds, so keep it going, we've replaced that 120. So I feel good about that. That's a good step in the right direction. The mortgage on that property is for 5 years. We have to have a commercial loan on it. That's because it's not it's commercial property. So we have another 3 years on that, and then we'll have to find some decisions about how we get rid of that mortgage and how we refinance that at the time. So just thinking ahead. And with that, I just want to say that there's a special lady here in this audience, and her name is Carolyn Bingham. And Carolyn, every year, she calls me during the year frequently. She's researching the family of Ruth and the family of Webbs and all the time. And she called me this year. She says, "Hey, I found a live Alden that's really a big wig, and who is it and why is he there?" And she sends me on these treasure hunts. So I'm still hunting for treasure, but I never have to worry about it. Every time Carolyn comes into this meeting, she comes to me with a check to help this organization, and she was the first one when we decided to buy the property that stood up and said, "And here's this, and if you match this, I'll give you another." And she was wonderful. And true to fashion, this morning she brought her annual contribution for the Alden Kindred, and we're very, very thankful. Carolyn, I think you deserve a round of applause. Yes.
In memory of my husband, who was
Yes.
George Bingham, who was very, very fond of the Aldens, everything Alden.
Right.
And as I said, I think 2 years ago, most people don't choose their family. I've chosen to belong as well.
Wonderful. And we like that. And George Chandler Bingham was one of the first board members I ever met when I came up here, and he was a staunch member of this board for a long, long time, and always wanted that property. And I'm sure he knows somewhere that has happened. I'd like to ask Linda Osborne, the former president. Most of you probably know Linda. She was president for 15 years. 17 years. Oh, excuse me. 17 years, and she still runs our scholarship program and the education committee. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I think Desiree already gave the education report, so I'm just giving the scholarship report. Kind of stands as written, but many years ago, Barbara Itz, who has been on the board for many years and now is an advisor, her dad was President Dr. Donald B. Young. And after he passed away, we set up a scholarship program in his memory. This year, we were able to give 2 scholarships because a couple of years ago we didn't give a scholarship. So after talking to the board and reviewing the scholarships, the committee they were both excellent. And we just couldn't say, okay, this one's a clear-cut winner. So we came before the board meeting and asked if we could give 2 scholarships, and they approved it. So I have notes from each one of them. They couldn't be here today. The first one is Sophia Congiaca, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but dear Miss Osborne, it's a great honor to accept the Alden Kindred of America Scholarship. My parents can't pay for all of my college, so every scholarship counts. I'm sorry I couldn't be there today to accept it myself, but here is a little bit about myself. I just graduated from Port Hill South High School and will be attending Duxbury University. I'm going to major in elementary education and special ed, and I plan on starting my career in the lower income schools because it is where the students need the most help. Again, thanks so much for choosing me. And that's Sophia. Sophia had a community service. She had high marks. She just had everything that would warrant a scholarship. Second one is David Lau, who is the grandson of former President Robert Edmonds, and he's out in Provo, Utah. Dear Scholarship Committee, thank you so very much for selecting me for the scholarship. I appreciate your helping me to further my education, and this scholarship will help me towards my goal of graduating college debt-free. So those were our two. Our high school award, which is a John and Priscilla Alden Scholarship, it goes to either someone entering a trade or a history major. It goes to a Duxbury High School student, and this year it was Adam Carriel. So just to let you know, let your seniors apply for this. They must be members before September 1st of the previous year, and we must have the scholarship application in by March 1st. It's a $1,000 scholarship, and a lot of times people don't get it in on time, and we have to, unfortunately, stick to the rules. But we've had some really good recipients in the past several years. So my report stands as written. I don't know if you have any questions or not, but I'm very proud to be on this committee. We have a great committee that reviews every year. It's really a fun and worthwhile thing to do. Thanks.
Any questions?
We have to have a motion to accept the report.
Motion to accept the report.
And a second. All in favor? All right. Thanks a lot.
Lily Cleveland.
Good morning, members, guests, and Alden cousins. It's a great day to observe and celebrate our communal heritage and love of the Alden homestead. I'm Lily Cleveland, Alden Kindred genealogist, and the face behind all those emails. I also descend from daughter Elizabeth. We have had a very productive year, with more lineage requests coming in than ever. Some members of our society choose to research and document their own Alden family line. In the genealogy department of one, myself, I try to help everyone as best I can. Things in the office are more spiffy than ever. Thank you to Wesley, our high school intern, for his assistance moving our archives to the new file cabinets, which, by the way, are almost full, but we won't talk about that. We're also TV stars. I give a program on Lineage Society applications, documentation, here in the Alden barn, and we had quite a good showing for that. And we're working, by the way, very shortly to come is insignia. So that's really new for us, and we're working with Hamilton Jewelers, who also represents the DAR and some other really big lineage groups, and they really look very beautiful. So, and I think the price points are going to be great. To those of you who have achieved your lineage approval and certificates, congratulations. This ends a very long process of collecting a stream of documents to prove your line, who you really are. The feeling is incredible when you realize that you can prove your personal relationship to John Alden, who lived 400 years ago. To those of you who are still wondering or struggling with research, please feel free to ask questions. Most of us have moved many times, corporate transfers, college, graduate school, whatever. We now maintain our relationships with split-second communications. We have lost our sense of place, and our homesteads are long gone. The family no longer resides in the same house, in the same town, generation after generation. This is the site of your first settlement in this country, your Alden family. John and Priscilla Alden moved to this very land, this very spot, and built their home and tended their farm where you now sit. Congratulations again to all who completed their research. Enjoy the day and welcome home.
For those of you who have worked with Lily, and she works with a lot of people online, Adrian Sumner, one of our board members who couldn't be with us today, runs a Facebook page called Mayflower Descendants of John and Priscilla. And she tends it like a garden. It's a closed Facebook page if you want to join, you can just go online and say, I'd like to join. She'll ask you if you are an Alden proved or unproved. It doesn't matter. But she keeps it to people who have that interest. And I will tell you, she's got 1,740 people. Last month she had 1,620 because we gave a free membership to this 1,620th person to join your Facebook page. A woman from Arizona. I said, can you come to the annual meeting? And she said, no, I'm in Arizona, but she's thinking of us today. But it's amazing what Ancestry.com and Facebook, social media, and our website, all combined, has done to enhance Ancestry, and it's the main strength of our being, and it's pretty unique, and I appreciate all that you do with it, and she does it so well with Grace. And if anybody didn't notice, the picture that's sitting behind Lily, that is the picture that's going to be raffled today. It's a watercolor. Lily's got a talent, and we have a lot of Aldens that are artists. But Lily is a colorist, and she has won numerous awards in juried shows, and she has painted this picture for us. And this is
Kelsey's going to go around to the tables. Kelsey's a descendant of Jonathan and Joseph. There we go. And she'll go around and collect any of the tickets that you have that you want to add to the raffle.
Okay, do they have the tickets on the
Yeah,
table?
they're on the table.
Okay, so if you want to put your name in to get a ticket, there was 3 for $10 and $5 a piece, I guess. And it's a wonderful, this replaces the rug that we always did, because the rug hookers are no longer doing the rugs in the Alden House, but this is a wonderful gift that I want to thank you. Yes?
Can I confirm, I purchased my tickets when I purchased my lunch here today.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I purchased my tickets when I purchased my lunch here.
Yes, they're in the basket.
That's what I wanted to...
They're in the basket already. If you have, this is just if people want to do it that haven't had a chance to do it. And while we do that, we're going to have Gary Campbell, my vice president in charge of membership, give his report.
I'll leave it to you here.
Good morning. Well, before I talk about numbers, I just want to give you a couple of definitions. When we talk about total membership, that includes children, life members, and a few complementary members. When we talk about billable members, we do not include children, life members, or complementary members. So as of June 30th, 2017, the end of our fiscal year, as Desiree said before, we have 1,982 total members and 1,612 billable members. We had 502 life members. Sadly, we had 24 members deceased this past year. So increase in membership was 136, which was pretty good considering we had no special discounts or offers of any kind. If we can project this same growth next year, we will hit our goal of 2020 members before the year 2020. Now, if you remember last year, I mentioned that some members, for some reason, have not yet paid their dues. As of our last board meeting on June 9th, there were 601 not yet paid. So we sent out 2 email reminders, and of July 29th, that number has been reduced to 497. So a little over 100 paid. So now we're at the point where we're going to start a phone program and try to collect some more. That will probably act as a dual purpose. Maybe we'll get some more members out of it too. Adrian Sumner, who we've heard about before, has graciously agreed to help with some of this. And once we get it going, we will probably involve a couple of more members. In case you didn't know it, Adrian manages the Facebook page, Mayflower Descendants of John and Priscilla Mullins, John Alden and Priscilla Mullins. And at last glance, as Pauline said, there were 1,600 1,740 members on her Facebook page. And I have to repeat this, recently she advised that she had added Darlene Kelsey Corson as her 1620th member. So we thought it appropriate to give Darlene a one-year complimentary membership. Of course, she said she wasn't going to be here because she's out in Arizona. Now, I don't want to hear any moans and groans when I give you the next piece of news, but I have to let you know that our last board meeting, it was with much discussion and great debate that we decided it was time to increase the single-member dues from $30 to $40, and the lineage fees from $75 to $100. There is something else I want to share with you. At the last board meeting, we've been discussing, the last few board meetings, we've been discussing possible future plans for our property, including the barn. So that got me to thinking about the day Flo and I attended the barn raising on that wonderful day of April 18th, 1998. It was beautiful weather. What a unique opportunity to witness such an event. That day I picked up a little souvenir. It's a hardwood peg, and it's used to drive into the hole in the mortise and tenon to hold everything in place. Now what you don't know probably is that these pegs can talk to each other. Yeah, really, they can. I walked past a box of them, and I heard one peg say to the other, "Let's get out of here and get hammered." So they did. And now as we go from the ridiculous to the sublime, next April 18th, the barn will be 20 years old. I can't believe it's been that long. It's served us well, but we've now outgrown it, and we need to do something about it. I think we have utilized the barn well, but we could do much more with a larger space. And, well, I know Pauline has lots more to tell you about this. So, thanks for your kind attention, and enjoy the rest of your day.
That's my humor, Scott, right? Thank you, Gary. Following up on that, you may have received one of these when you came in. I just wrote a little note because I think one of the things that occurs to me, what happens with our membership, it kind of whittles around. We notice people in March and, you know, sometimes in June if you come in late, it's too loosey-goosey. So I just decided to write you all a little note and say there's two major things. The annual fund is always around the Thanksgiving holiday, and the membership is always around March. And if people could pay attention to that, it's really critical because it affects our cash flow. You know, we have influx of cash in November and hopefully an influx in March, but when it drags out to after June 30th, out of the fiscal year, it becomes a cash management issue. So if people could pay attention to paying the dues promptly and making sure that around Thanksgiving time they remember their family, we'd be in good shape. I also stuck two things in there to help encourage people to think of new ways of giving. And one is the Amazon Smile program. How many people here order anything off of Amazon? I mean, this has changed. If I asked that question 3 years ago, there have been 3 hands up. Everybody uses Amazon. They're incredible. They've just now taken over Whole Foods, my gosh, etc. If you go on Amazon Smile program and you look through the list of nonprofits that you can dedicate funds to, the Alden Kindred of America is one of them. And so I've done this, and I'm not a huge Amazon customer, but from time to time I'm a Prime member, so if I'm going to order something like even a lawnmower, I order on Amazon Prime, and all of a sudden I get a little note 2 days ago that said, you know, $189 was sent to the Alden Kindred. I had no idea how much it would be. But if every 2,000 member decided to do that, we probably could fund the whole organization. So that's a really unique way to help, and it doesn't cost a cent. It just means to make sure that when you're ordering online, you do it through the Smile program and that you put in the Alden Kindred. And the other thing I do is that I have a few things. Most people are paying their bills electronically these days, and I have a few accounts that just keep going, like my church and my college and by Alden Kindred. And I just have a small amount of money, maybe $10, $20, $30 a month that I get taken out, and I don't even know it's out. It just is part of the natural progression of my financial managing. So I shared that because sometimes people feel that they have to be wealthy to be able to be a contributing person, and it's not true. So I just share that with you because those things are important to us and important to our future. All right, let's see, genealogy, oh, it's not here. Terry, do you have something you want to say about the film? Where's Terry? Oh, there he is. Would you like to give a quick update on the film?
Hi, I'm Terry Ryber. I'm a board member here at the Alden Kindred, been so for a couple of years or so. And about a year and a half ago, we approached Pauline and the board and we said, hey, how come we don't have a film here? We have all these people coming to visit, they're coming into the barn, and we really need something to get people to orient themselves to what the story is before they visit the house and then go to the site. So that was presented to the board, and it was literally unanimously accepted that we should do a film. So we created a film committee with myself and Desiree as the co-organizers of the committee, and there's also Alden is on the film committee and a number of other people, all border. And we got together and we started working with PAC TV, which is a local area access program, and they gave us a really good methodology for how to develop a film script and that sort of thing. And we got to the point now where I'm writing the first draft of the script, and we should be finishing that off in the next, I'd say, 8 to 12 weeks. We'll have a finished script for a film that we can show in the boardroom. So I think this is a tremendous opportunity for the group to see John and Priscilla coming to life. They're going to be characters in the film for 10 to 20 minutes talking about their story, the incredible problems they had to overcome. I mean, here's a couple, one of the first couples of the New World, overcoming extreme difficulties, and yet going on to becoming really the first family of the United States of America. So it's a beautiful story. We're currently working on the script. I have to say at times when I write the script, I almost come to tears as I write it, and it's going to be beautiful, I think. So stay tuned. I think over this summer and fall we'll finish the script. We'll have it out to various individuals to review it, and I'm hoping next year we're going to get a grant, and we're going to work with PAC TV, the local access TV station, to put it together. It's going to be about a 10 to 20 minute film, and I know my goal and Desiree's goal is when people see this, they're really going to be touched by the story of this couple. Thank you.
Mary Ruth Duquette, past president, is head of our nominating committee, but she lives in North Carolina, and so John Toll will give the nominations for office, board officers and board members. I call John to the podium for that purpose.
Good morning. There are 7 members of the board that are being elected today, and I will read their names first, and then I will acknowledge the other members who are midterm. Seems like I have a bit of a cold or something. The 7 who will be re-elected are President Pauline R. Keyser, First Vice President Gary J. Campbell, Treasurer Patricia E. Randall, Paul Clementi Jr., Linda J. Osborne, Terry Reaver, and Jerry Roberts. Our incumbent board members are Second Vice President Thomas M. McCarthy, Third Vice President J. Alden Keyser, Secretary Amy Holbrook, members at large Patricia J. Brown, Emily Zoltowski, John Hislop, Lily Cleveland, our genealogist, Jeffrey Dowling, Adrian Sumner, and John Bradford Toll.
everybody has different kind of weather. Nominations have been declared. Are there any nominations from the floor?
I move the slate.
You moved the slate. All in favor of moving the slate, say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. I always say this is the easiest election I've ever had. For those of you who know, I used to run for office.
You didn't ask for anybody opposed.
Are you opposed, Alden?
Yes,
Okay.
just on principle.
Okay.
You didn't ask.
Okay, we had two more things to go. I've got a short little report, and then we're going to do the roll call by son and daughter, and then I think our chicken will have arrived, and so we're kind of staying on schedule. That's good. Don't forget, right after the meeting, we're going to take a picture of everybody that's here, because everybody's a pilgrim. We're all going to be up by the house and take a picture, probably right in front of this garden. Okay. This year has been a good year, but it's been one that's had its issues and its struggles as well. We said goodbye to Kristen, our fund development and membership director last fall. And we hired someone. We were without anybody for 6 months, and we hired somebody named Jim Queenie of Duxbury to do development work on a 6-month basis. And his 6 months has expired, and so we are now in the field again for a part-time development person, and we definitely want someone that has had experience in development work, like donor cultivation and fundraising experience on a good-sized scale. So if you know anybody that's interested in a part-time position, it's flexible. That's one reason we can get people, because we're flexible hours, and a lot of this research can be done off-site. So we are still without a full complement of people that we need to run this organization. I again want to single out Desiree Mobred and Carol Smith and Lily Cleveland and Trish Smith. And I think Kim Marsh is here also. I think she was running around being, there she is. That's our accountant. And I'm telling you, they all work so well together. And I feel so certain that everything I'm giving you in terms of financial reports, etc., are spot on to the penny. So that's very, very comforting to me, and should be comforting to you. Our internship program continues to grow. It involves high school and college level, and that is something that is ultimately fundable for this organization as an education thing. From the board's point of view, most of this year was spent thinking about the future and how we can more fully service our membership, create a fuller experience for our visitors, and enrich the community. In short, we want to serve as the memory and the voice of the Alden family and the pilgrims in their communities. Say that again. We want to be the memory and the voice of the Alden family, the pilgrims, and their communities. That's our mission, and that's who we are. We need to keep this history alive. And believe me, if you look at school curriculums anywhere out in New England, it vanishes. Nobody is taught these stories anymore. They are taught it in Duxbury because they're Duxbury, and we assist in that. We should be assisting in Hull and Hanson and Pembroke and Plymouth and everything else. Make sure at least this section of the country knows that, and remotely other sections of the country. Wherever you live, if you say Mayflower or Alden, then you get a blank stare. We need to continue that education on a personal level as well as an institutional level. So we welcome your input on progress and everything else. As far as looking at the future, you might see some stakes in the ground over there with orange tops. And the reason they're there is we've been humming and hawing and thinking about what to do with the property next door. Just to clarify, both of those buildings over there are rented. Our rental dog just barked a few minutes ago, if you noticed, the black lab. We have 3 labs living on the property, so if you're a dog lover, you don't like that. The property allows us to consider the barn expansion. And the stakes that were put out there, we just gave Bill Thayer, who's a wonderful architect and has done all of this work for us gratis, has said, he said, give me everything you might want. And we gave him a list of everything anybody had said that they thought they might want, and he sketched it out, and then I said, put some stakes in the ground so we could see. how big this thing would be. And I saw them Friday, and my board saw them Friday, and they're overwhelming. It's so big in terms of size to the relationship of the bomb and the house on the hill. And we had a long session yesterday to talk about that, and to talk about, okay, this was everybody's wish list. What is it that we really need, and what are we going to do with it, and how are we going to conduct ourselves in the future, and what do we see happening here 25 years from now, 50 years from now, whatever, because a major building project is a major building project. The one thing that we absolutely have to do is we have to find a way to get people with disabilities who come into a parking lot to the site. This is not acceptable. This path is not the right length for the steepness of it, and does not comply with ADA. Our first floor and our second floor do not connect here. It's very, very hard to conduct business here. You may be having a meeting upstairs and the copier's downstairs in the middle of the winter, and you got to go out around in the snow down there and then bring it back up. It's insane. So the one thing we know, whatever expansion takes place over here, will have an elevator and a stairway that connects the two. It will also have some more office space and some more classroom space, and at least an area that would hold 50 to 60 people at a gathering. We want something that's usable, flexible, and can tell the story year-round. We don't open the house in the winter. It has no heat, no light, no water. It's just not something you can do. So we need to be able to give the visitor the experience they need with or without the tour of the house. And we can do that by cleverly deciding what's on this lot, what kind of demonstrations we can have, what kinds of activities can go on a casual basis or a regular basis. So we're still in the throes of figuring that all out, but I can tell you we're going to do something. And when we do something, we have to do something about three other things. One is the expansion of the facility. The second is making sure we take care of that mortgage that's on that property we talked about before. The third is that we absolutely have to have an endowment drive combined with it to sustain the organization. It's not going to work without that kind of an endowment. And for an organization this size to have an endowment of under $400,000 is very risky. It needs to be a lot higher than that. And the fourth piece, the fourth leg of the table, or the fourth leg of the stool, is that we should set aside an endowment fund specifically for the preservation of that house. That's the asset. Repairs to it do not come easy. And, you know, right now it's in pretty good shape, except the front stoop, which is being fixed, and for a humidity issue that we're working on. But 50 years from now, there could be a lot of other things that need to be fixed, and we need to put a fund in place specifically and only for that purpose. So when we figure out the expansion phase, we'll put all of that together, and we'll talk with you, and we'll talk about how we can continue to grow this organization, and realize that it's really going to be the membership that needs to really think about what they want to have happen, and be able to step up and make it happen. I am excited about it because I think anything is doable if you've done the planning and know why you're doing it and how it fits into your mission. If you just say, oh, let's raise X, and then go do it, it doesn't work. We need to discover what X is first, and then do it in a deliberative way, and not forget the four legs of the table. And so we're going to get those legs together on that table, and then we're going to get our legs together, and we're going to go out, and we're going to make this a very special place even more special, and prepare it for the next 50 years. So that's the goal of this board, and it's a lot of work. And the same time we're growing and increasing our outreach, it all goes together. And it's a lot of work, and a lot of dedicated people make it happen. And I'm pleased and proud to be part of the leadership of this. I think this is the time to push to do it because of 2020. If anyone picked up the Globe yesterday morning, that you would see that the Plymouth Rock gets 1 million visitors every summer without 2020. Can you imagine with the extra push what that's going to be? People in this community are performing Airbnbs left and right because there's no hotels in the area that can handle the crowds. So if you live close, become an Airbnb for Alden Kindred members. That would be a great thing. So I'm encouraged and I'm excited about the future. I think when you look around the grounds today, I've never seen our gardens look better. I've never seen the variety of vegetables that are there. I'm excited to see what the coop is doing up there because he's building a fire. I was going to put him in the house, so I don't think that he had a fire. But really, all in all, you have a wonderful organization and a whole cadre of people who really care. And so that's my distinct pleasure to accept this presidency for yet another year and to do the best I can to make it all happen. Thank you. Now, for the exciting roll call. How many are here for the first time? Ah, lots. And that's good. The roll call is a traditional thing, and our membership chairman, Gary Campbell, will do the roll call. And you can stand more than once, or we can, yeah, I'll have you stand because it's easy to get up and down off here. When it's on the grass, it wasn't. We do it by son or daughter, so that we ask all the Jonathans to stand, or the Sarahs, and some of you have 2 or 3. And you can stand as many times as they call your descendant, okay? And we record the results for probably 117th time. You want the mic over here? Okay.
If there's anybody who can't hear me, please raise your hand. Okay, how many are descended from Elizabeth?
You want to stand up? We're going to count. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10.
And John?
John, anyone from John? I don't think so.
You better work on that, Pauline.
Well,
Joseph?
did he get married?
Joseph?
Joseph has a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Joseph 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 Josephs.
Joseph rules!
16, right? 16 Josephs.
So far.
Not yet.
So far.
Sarah, you good? Sarah's good.
Oh, it's going to be close.
1, 2, 3. Are you Sarah too? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12.
Ha!
Oh. There.
Jonathan?
Jonathan, that's me. We're not so prolific. 1, 2, 3, 4. Linda, are you Jonathan?
Yes.
Raise your hand. 5.
Outstanding.
5 of us. I tell you, the women were much more prolific. Ruth. You got a lot of Ruths. Ruth, Carolyn, aren't you Ruth? Oh, that's right. Well, you should. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Okay.
Rebecca?
Hey, thank you. One for Rebecca.
David?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, the winner is Joseph. Wait till next year, all.
Alright. We'll find some
My
more.
grandmother had 10 children, and she was one of 13. So.
There you go. Bring them on.
Who traveled the farthest to attend the annual reunion?
Okay, who travels farthest? I know someone's from California, the Stone Gal.
Well, that's definitely the front.
Mexico.
Mexico.
Well,
Baja.
Singapore.
Is she a little further than you, or you?
Baja's farther than
Sing, sing.
Baja's farther. Anybody?
yes.
Okay, we've got the furthest of the country over there in California, the furthest in shortest distance to get here. I don't know,
Where's
you and
Terry?
Terry.
Terry, where are you?
1 mile.
1 mile.
You're a mile. As the crow flies, you're a mile. You're a little further.
I think Amy's closer than me.
Yeah, I think she is. Amy wins. And how about back there? Where, Duxbury?
I'm 4 miles.
Close?
Big pop, no, not close enough to.
Okay. Well, as much as I'd like to say, it's you. Amy not only was closest bird flies, but she was on Alden property. That's about the,
That's pretty close.
they cut a pie shape, you know, they had the woods, the farm, the marsh, and the ocean. Well, she's on just above the marsh, looking up at the ocean.
I live on a Weston property.
No.
And if anybody, some people might remember Laura Cushman, who was the former president back in the 50s. Laura Oaks Cushman, she was like a pillar of one of those pillars of the trees around here. She lived there. It's in her, and the Alden barn that sits there has been restored by the sale of all the contents of her home after she passed away after 95 years. And the barn has been thoroughly fixed, right?
I vacuum it, I clean it, we've got rugs and pool table and...
Oh,
Nice.
we got everything in the barn.
Party and Amy.
All right,
We got Thanksgiving.
I think let's do two things. Let's gather up here for the picture.
Wait.
And, oh, what do we got?
How many attending the first Alden reunion? You
Oh,
did
yes.
one before,
Raise your
so
hands again.
Do it again, we'll count you this time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18. And there's another category too, right?
Yeah.
Ages.
The oldest and the youngest. Well, I think we might say the youngest might be sitting in the table here. Who's the youngest? Are you the youngest?
She's 8.
8. Anyone here claim to be younger than 8?
Younger than 8.
He just turned 9 2 days ago.
Oh, we do. So behind him. How old is he?
He just turned 9 2 days ago.
Oh, gosh. I think you missed it by an inch. Okay, so and what is your name?
Elena.
Elena? How do you spell it?
E-L-E-N-A.
Elena. Elena what?
Cardenas.
Spell that.
Cardenas, C-A-R-D-E-N-A-S.
Okay. Elena, you're our youngest person, and we're going to have you sit with our oldest person. Who's the oldest person here? Anyone over 90? Do we have anyone over 90? Where's our friend that usually comes? I don't do that. How about 88? Who's 88? Barbara? 89? 89. Anybody older than 89 here? Anybody feel older than 89? Okay, Barbara is. Barbara, you want to come over and meet this young Alden? We'll take your picture. Okay. Barbara Hitz, who was a long time with Oh, yeah.
You make the kids go to the old portion.
Yeah, really. I have an announcement. Carolyn's always full of surprises, and she brought with her this dish. And she wonders if anybody might know something about it. Let me just put my glasses on here. It's this. It's a dish that was made. I know it's got by the A.S. Burbank Company in Plymouth, Mass. in 1909, right? And they've used coats of arms of Mayflower families, and they have the families on there, but they're you're interested in what the trim is around it. Come on up here, Carolyn, and tell us about this plate. It does have Alden on it. She wonders about some of the other things that are on here. Brewster, Warren, Fuller, Howland, Windsor, White, Bradford. Come and tell them what you want to know, and maybe somebody here knows. If anybody knows whether these families, whether these really belong to these particular people, or whether they're
they're just general English coats of arms belonging to families of the same name. The Alden one, they shouldn't know who John Alden is, but they've got a fancy coat of arms here. And so I was just wondering if anybody
knows family crest.
I think Winslow probably, again, Winslow probably the only one that
That's real.
could have had one. But I brought it to show people today. It is over 100 years old, but it was made in Staffordshire in England. I'm down here if anybody wants to look at it.
Well, that shows up on there. She's questioning how did an Alden crest get to be an Alden crest, right?
Well, I mean,
I have one too on my wall, but how did he get a crest when we can't even trace him to England? That's a good question, right?
the Bradford one might be real, but you know, it's too general to say that these belong to these particular people.
I would suggest you put it on that table right there with Patrick Brown and Lily Cleveland, John W. And anybody wants to come to see it, they can, and add their commentary can do so. Thank you, Carol. Okay.
Colleen?
Yeah.
Did Jim Baker say that we did not ever have?
Did Jim Baker ever say anything about the crest lily that we know of?
No, I don't think there is one for the Aldens. I'm not sure.
Yeah, she doesn't think there's really one for the Aldens. There's one that's been commonly used. John?
If you want to get a legitimate coat of arms, you have to petition the College of Arms. They will assign a herald to you who will then grant a coat of arms to an individual, not to a family. None of the pilgrims have legal right to a coat of arms. All of the arms associated with the pilgrims are other families with the same name.
There's your answer.
Including the Bradfords, who had a lovely pin made up with the 3 stags on it. And many of us in the Bradford Compact won these arms, but they're not associated with Governor Bradford.
Okay, so these are things that have trailed along after names, not necessarily associated with exact people. Good to know. Let's have our picture taken. Desiree, are we ready to take the picture?
Where's Terry? Yeah, Terry's here.
Why don't we just